Africans of Reddit, what cultural differences separate your country from the rest of Africa? Answering this question is quite difficult because Africans, speaking as a Ugandan, don't usually have cultural practices that unify a country because there are many tribes that exist within a country that all have different practices. As a Ugandan, I identify as a Muganda from the central region of the country. In my region we have a king who is the head of the different clans. Different clans also have their own clan leaders. What would separate my region from other regions is the language we speak. It's called Luganda. We also have matuke as our staple food, and our kingdom is one of the last ones standing, as many were disintegrated by British colonial rule. As a Ugandan, what is close to a cultural practice is that we greet people when we meet them before doing business with them. If I go to the shop to purchase items, I will first greet the shop attendant. If I report to work in the morning, it's kind of mandatory to greet my workmates as soon as I get in. This, however, is common practice in most African countries. What you have asked is a question I can take the whole day answering, because then I will have to get into regions, tribes, clans, chiefdoms and kingdoms. I have answered the easiest way I can. We're the continent's most recent real democracy. Judges stood up to the president and said the sham of an election wasn't good enough. People were inspired and queued to vote in the election rerun, removing the old government. So proud of my country. If you want to know more, https://www.bbc.com/news/world-africa-513691991 . Ghana. Uber is available here since one of the execs of the company is Ghanaian. Also, our funerals are a really elaborate party, as shown in that meme. I spent about a month in Ghana in 2011. Was invited to a party in a village in Volta. It was a huge dance party, and as anyone who's been to Ghana knows, it was hella fun. I noticed a bunch of people surrounding a dude on a chair in the corner. Went over. Turned out it was a dead guy who'd been embalmed and was just sitting there while everyone paid their respects. I'd actually been invited to a funeral. That was an experience I'll never forget. Edit. Now that this comment has blown up, let me tell you that you should go to Ghana on your next vacation. It'll change your life. For real. Tanzanian here. Well, I've noticed that Tanzanians tend to be very quick to get personal with each other, and casual flirting is basically normal and an easygoing thing. After living in a few other countries, I just found that Tanzanians by nature have a more casual attitude to everything, with random strangers easily treating you as their own child or relative within minutes of meeting, and it being normal to flirt with random shopkeepers, attendants and conductors. It further helps that everyone speaks the same language. Culture and religion is not very strict and doesn't separate people too much. I grew up outside of Tanzania and moved back for a while as a teenager, and it blew me away at first how easygoing everything was. Living away from home now makes me miss how I could strike up fun and insightful conversations everywhere I go, and always joke around and flirt with people I didn't even know. Genuinely helped a lot in getting over my social anxiety. Well, we don't consider ourselves Africans, and half the population keep debating if we're Arab or not. Egypt. Yes. As an Algerian and Moroccan, I feel you. I consider myself African, but others label me as an Arab. Skeptical smiley face. From South Africa, we have a beach with penguins. As a Kenyan, we run. But TBH, that's just one tribe. We have 42 of them, same as most African countries with 30+ tribes. Since most countries are less than 60 years old, we don't tend to have a real national identity. Most Africans identify first as their tribes and then as their country. However, outside Africa we become more patriotic, I guess, since we need an identity, I guess. Such a difficult question to answer. Even within countries, there are significant cultural differences. Example, I'm Kenyan, from a community called Kikuyu. Kikuyus are as culturally different from, say, the famous Maasai people. http://www.maasaicamp.com/warriorcamp.html. As a Scotsman is from a Welshman, even though both of those are British. In Kenya alone, there are approximately 45 different communities or tribes. Think Scottish, English, Welsh, Northern Irish, etc. as the tribes of the UK. And most other African countries are also the same. This results in wide-ranging cultural differences even for closely neighboring countries. So things like language, marriage customs, rites of passage, handling death, etc. are all totally different and alien to communities living just a few hundred kms from each other. For example, in the Dinka tribe in Kenya's neighbor Sudan, the men scar their faces. https://stock.com/stock-photos-images/1850-9660 as a rite of passage. That sounds just as bizarre to me as it would to a European or a Chinese person. So the short answer to what cultural differences separate your country from the rest of Africa is just like community, we'd need #6 seasons and a movie to explain it all. I don't know if this counts, but we are the music capital of Africa. Nigeria. We clap our hands as a sign of gratitude and respect. You do this when someone is passing you something, e.g. a plate of food, or any object really. We have, in my opinion, the coolest public transport. Our minibuses and minivans are basically works of art. Cool graffiti artwork, sick body kits and audio systems that rival nightclubs. This is what I'm talking about. https://imager.com/a/space 12 different official languages are nicknamed the Rainbow Nation due to the variety of races. We are named after a stereotype. Chad. My wife is not allowed to eat on the same table as my father. Your coffin starts its trip from your house and your nephews and kids have to do the heavy lifting and organizing. In-laws will block entrance with blanket until you pay toll for coffin to leave homestead. Not having been colonized, hosting the political capital of Africa, having one of the oldest forms of Christianity and Judaism, having some of the continent's most beautiful women and eating a flat pancake with tons of different stews as our national dish. Oh, we also are one of the few countries, if I'm not mistaken, with an indigenous alphabet that is used in the country's primary language. It's really hard to find differences between my country, Algeria, and both our neighbors Morocco and Tunisia. Our cultures collide in many aspects. Europeans even refer to us as North Africans or Maghrebans. We don't think of ourselves as Africans. And any reference to African people, we mean black African from the south. Egypt, Algeria, Morocco. North Africa, right? Bingo. Morocco. We've got folks of several different ethnicity living together with a Hindu majority. Only country in Africa, I believe. Mauritius? Zimbabwe in here. That is a difficult question because the colonizers bunched up different kingdoms irrespective of their political boundaries. Zimbabwe and South Africa are legally separated by the Limpopo River. However, the Venda Kingdom occupied that region, and we now have a situation where families suddenly found themselves separated by the political boundaries which they never knew existed. The same holds true for Botswana and Zimbabwe, where the Baswana and Kalanga-speaking people exist on both sides of the border. Same thing with Zimbabwe and Zambia, where the Tonga exist on either side. Again, the same phenomena exists between Mozambique and Zimbabwe, where the Ndau Kingdom doesn't respect the imaginary lines put in place by the Berlin Conference. The same holds true for all Southern and East African countries I know of. Hence it becomes hard to distinguish along cultural differences, because our nation-states are a melting pot of varied cultures. Somalian through my mum here. We have nicknames for everyone. One of my favorite one is the nickname we have for presidents. Big forehead, big head, that is literally what we call them, instead of president or prime minister. My mum doesn't see the funny side to it, but I do.